Hello. Good evening, everyone. How are you all? My name is Jyoti, and I'm today your IELTS expert for the day of speaking. I welcome you all on Leverage IELTS on behalf of Leverage Education. Please write hi or hello so that I know that you are here. Please drop your hi, hello. Okay, thank you all for joining today. So today our topic is related to speaking. We are going to discuss some expected speaking questions for the month of September, October, and November. Okay, before we start with our speaking, tell me, do you know anything about leverage edu? Leverage edu. Say hi. Say yes, no. You can write down yes, no. Hi, Navya. Okay. So leverage edu is basically your study abroad partners. Be it application, your visa, your exams, your loan, any if you have any query related to going to abroad, you can contact us. Please reach out to us if you have any query. Drop your number or you can let us call you directly or we can call you directly. So let's get back to our topic. So before we start, tell me how many of you know about IELTS and how many of you know about IELTS speaking? Do you have any idea? Do anybody know that the exam is how the exam is conducted and how it is done? Say yes or no so that I can know. Are you aware of IELTS speaking? Is anybody taking your exam next month or after next month? Okay, for those who don't know much about IELTS speaking, let's start with some of the things. Let me show you something. Let's talk about IELTS speaking. So, do you know what is IELTS speaking basically? It is one of your 4 modules on which you get your scores. You get scores out of 9 marks basically, right? You get scores out of 9. And it is a one-on-one session. You will be there, an examiner will be there, you will be given a venue, there you have to go and you have to take your test of the IELTS speaking. This is one of the 4 modules. So what the examiner will see in you, he'll basically assess you on your verbal ability, how well you can speak, how well you can answer the question, how well you can justify your answers. It will not be very long, just like your other modules, writing, reading, or your listening. It will be very brief. It is basically 11 to 15 minutes of your speaking. It just takes 11 to 15 minutes of your complete day. Okay. So what is asked in this particular speaking? It is basically divided into 3 parts. Have you heard about it? How they'll be asking you questions, what answers they will be, looking forward from your side. So, to tell you more about it, we have three sections. Your first section is basically the introduction section, which will take approximately 4 to 5 minutes of your day. So, in this particular section, they'll ask you about you and your choices, about your personal things like what kind of things do you like, what kind of clothes do you like. It will be all personal, something you know very clearly, for which you don't have to think a lot. They'll also ask you about your name first, before starting everything. Then, once they are done with this introduction section, in which 4 to 5 minutes are taken, after that, you will be given a topic. That is called cue card, which we'll be discussing in this section. So cue card is basically a 3 to 4 minutes of your speaking section. This is a section where you are supposed to talk about a topic for 2 minutes. Are you understanding it? Just say something. I got your hi, hellos. Okay. So yes, maybe you want to use the form. Okay, we'll be updating the forms also. So you can fill it. You can let us know that you want to go abroad or anything there. Okay, let's just get back to the cue card. So cue card is basically one of the topics that is given to you. You will be given only one topic. Only one topic that you need to justify in 2 minutes. The examiner will not disturb you at all. For 1 minute, what you have to do is you have to plan your topic. You'll be given a pencil and a paper. You can jot down some notes on it. And then in the next 2 minutes, you will be asked to talk about it. So after this section, you will be asked some few more questions that will be related to the topic itself, and those questions are called follow-up questions. It will again take 4 to 5 minutes approximate. These all questions will be related to the topic itself. Let's say if the topic is about education, talk about your childhood school. So all the questions will be related to education. Like, what do you think about smart classes and how well you are accustomed with smart classes? So what changes you have seen in the education system in past few years? These type of questions. Yes, Agni. Hi, Agni. Okay. So as I told you, it is one of your modules of IELTS exam. So there are some parameters which are assessed, on which you will be given your IELTS score. Sorry. So there are 4 parameters basically as that of writing. Here also we have 4 parameters. What are those 4 parameters? Your first is fluency and coherence. I guess you all are aware about fluency. Fluency means how naturally you can speak a language. You don't need to speak a language very fast. You don't need to adapt somebody's accent to show that, oh yes, I'm very good at speaking English. No, just speak naturally. Whatever is your local accent is, native accent specifically, this is very good. That's all. Fluency, they will be assessing your ability to speak naturally. What is the other thing? Fluency and coherence. How many of you are prepared are this word, coherence? Do you know what this coherence means? Could you please drop a message? Yes or no? Do you know what is coherence? Waiting. Just say yes or no, that will work. Do you know what coherence means? Okay, nice. So coherence means, okay, now where I got a message. Coherence basically means how well connected is going to be your all of your speaking part. The organization is basically checked in this coherence. So once they have seen your vocabulary, sorry, not fluency and coherence, they'll move to the next parameter, that is your vocabulary. So what vocabulary basically means for you guys? To know big words, to know unusual words, or not? Say yes or no. If I know multiple words, multiple unusual words, do you think I have a good vocabulary? Or if I'll say that I know the correct usage of words, that is a good vocabulary. What do you think? The first one or second one? First is I know multiple words, but I don't know their usage well. The unusual one. Second would be I know the correct usage of words, where to use and when to use a word, if it is correct or not. So drop one or two, which is better. One or two. First one, knowing multiple words. Second one, knowing correct usage of words. Which do you think is better? One or two? Waiting for your messages. Please stop one so I can know that how well you're acquainted with vocabulary things. Nice. Two. Very nice, Abhi. You are absolutely correct. Yes. Second is the right answer. Yes, Navya, you're also right. Second thing. If I know multiple words and I do not know the usage of those words, that means my vocabulary is not good. I won't be getting good scores on my vocabulary. So what you need to do is you need to work on the usage first. How well you can use a word and not how multiple times. Try not to repeat a word many times. You can repeat it once, twice, that is totally fine. Don't try to use one word again and again and again and again. Okay? Should I give you an example for vocabulary? The correct usage and multiple words? Say yes or no. So we can move to the next thing if you don't want an example for this. Yes, do you want it or you don't want it? Okay, so let's say, let's let me give you one example for this. Okay, let's not take an example. I mean, you don't want an example. Just let me give an example for the other people. So let's talk about a word children. Have you ever heard the word children? This is a multiple word. This is a word used for multiple child, right? If there are two, three, four, five children sitting in a room, but we cannot use this word for student. Student is something who is learning something. We cannot use youngsters for children if the question's demand is different. We cannot use juveniles for them. That will be again a wrong usage. There's also a word called infants. Infants is again not for children if the specific age is not mentioned. So always be very aware of your usage of words. If you are not aware of the usage, please don't use it. Okay? So, because if you will use it, it will deduct your scores for vocabulary section. Okay? So, next thing comes is your grammar. Now, the next parameter is grammar. Grammar, we are all are aware of what grammar is. What will they check? They'll check your tenses, your prepositions, your helping verbs, your subjects, nouns, pronouns, everything. They will be assessing all things related to grammar. And the last thing, that is again one of the most important parameters, that's called pronunciation. Pronunciation means how clearly, correctly, and loudly you can say, not very loud, how clearly and correctly you can pronounce a word, you can say a word. If you're not aware of the word, please don't use it. Please don't learn any specific vocabulary or unusual word from somewhere and then use it in your speaking until and unless you are very sure of it. If you will use it, you will be obviously losing scores for you. Okay, so be aware before you start doing anything or before you start saying anything. Now, let me give you an example for this, and before that, let me tell you one more thing. All these parameters will give you 25% scores from each. You'll get 25% scores from each of these parameters. 25% from fluency and coherence, 25% from vocabulary, 25% from grammar, 25% from pronunciation. Okay, if you're not doing good in one of these parameters, your scores will be deducted from that particular parameter only and not from any other parameter. If my grammar is not correct, my scores will be deducted from grammar only. They won't be deducting my scores for vocabulary. Understood? I hope you understood. Just drop a yes or no you understood, if you understood the term. Okay? Okay. So let's move to the next thing that is called a cue card. I'm going to give you an example. Then I'll be showing you some of the expected questions on which you can work by yourself for the next coming 2 months. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Abhi. Thank you, Navya. Okay. So let's say describe a childhood friend. Thank you, Purti. So a childhood friend. That is your topic. You need to describe a childhood friend of yours. Okay. It could be anybody. Somebody living next to you, somebody from your school, somebody from your like family, your parents' friend's daughter or son. You can talk about any friend, but it has to be your childhood friend. It is specified in the topic itself. Next thing, what you need to do is you need to answer all the bullet points. Whichever these points are given to you, you need to answer that. So what is the first point? Who this person is. Okay. So as the question says, he or she is your friend. Okay. So who this person is? Second question says, how you became friends with this person. Third question says, what kind of things you like to do with this person. Fourth, explain why you like him or her. If she's a girl, you can talk about her. If it's a boy, you can talk him. Okay. Yes, suddenly we have a question. What if we are unfamiliar with the cue card? Question. Okay, Avni. So your question is very genuine. If you are unaware of the cue card question, although it doesn't happen usually, the cue card questions are very general. It is usually based on your own experience or something you know, some place you know, or it can be about a product, it can be about a thing, it can be about a place, or it can be about some people you are very accustomed with, you're very close to. Okay, so there won't be any questions which will be very difficult for you to answer. So if you're not very aware of the question, still you need to make something on it. But whatever you make, please use 1 minute very wisely. Okay. I told you, you won't get something out of this universe. You will simply get something that you are aware of. You would be asked very difficult questions. Okay. But you need to be very aware of what you are going to say about it. Please say simple and good vocabulary. Use good vocabulary. Use good examples. Make good topics and organize to us and influence. Everything will matter. Hope I answered your question. Okay, so some of the examples you will see after the slide. You will see some of the examples. You will understand that, okay, the questions are not very difficult and you won't get something which you are not very aware of. Okay, have I answered your question, Ami? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what is the next thing? What kind of things you like to do with this person and explain why you like him or her. So now you have got 60 seconds basically to prepare this topic. So never ever ever think that you will prepare this topic in your mind. Okay, I can talk about my childhood friend just like that. No, you must not do this thing. You know what is the problem with this? We usually get nervous while we are speaking, or we usually forget some idea. So the simplest questions usually becomes the tricky one. What you need to do is write down the points. Never write down the lines. Don't make sentences on your paper. Always write down the pointers only. If your childhood friend's name is Avni, just write down Avni. Okay, do not write I'm going to talk about Avni. Uh, yes, yes. Malaya, it will be available. Yes, it will be definitely available. Okay, and hi Malaya. Okay, yes, I was telling you that on your paper, in your 1 minute, never ever write down the complete sentence. That will completely waste your time. Just jot down the points. I'm going to talk about Avni and she's my childhood friend and so on, so on, so on. Just the pointers and never the lines because you won't be reading it. That should not feel cramped or low or anything. What you need to do is you need to give a fluent answer. So just write down the point, just see the point if you need. If you forget anything, just look at the paper and just say, continue with it. Okay? So let's see. I'm going to give you a tip on this. So what is the next step? Now see. As I told you, you need to use your 1 minute very wisely. Always use paper. Do not forget to use your paper. Now, what will be happening? You need to start directly with the topic, and then you can add up a general line if you want. Okay? You should not just start abruptly. You should connect your topic properly. If this is going to be related to your childhood friend, talk about your childhood friend so that you can say, okay, I'm going to talk about one of my childhood friends whose name is Avni, who's very close and very reliable friend to me. Okay. For the next 40 seconds, what you need to do is you need to think about the bullet points. First 10 seconds, start. Think how you are going to start about it. Think about the title, think about the first two lines, and then for the next 40 seconds, think about what you are going to talk about all these bullet points. You have 4 bullet points here. You get 3 also sometimes. Here we have 4 bullet points. And if you have 4 bullet points, just write it down. What am I going to talk about here? Just the pointers and never the lines. I'm telling you again and again, but write down the lines. So the next 40 seconds will be used to write pointers for the bullet points. And in the last 10 seconds, if you have something, some vocab word in your mind, just write it down so that you know, okay, I need to use this word while I'm taking my speaking. Understood? For the first 10 seconds, you need to think about the title. How am I going to start it? Like as I told you, how you were supposed to start it. After that, use the next 40 seconds to talk about the bullet point. Write down, jot down the point. And the last 10 seconds, think about the vocab if you want to write it. Okay? Now, so what am I going to tell you next is what kind of vocabulary we can use, what kind of words we can use it is. Am I allowed to use idioms in it? Do you know? Are we allowed to use idioms in our speaking? Please drop yes or no. Are we allowed to use idioms or phrases in our speaking? Yes. Correct answer, Pooja. You are all absolutely right. Let me show you one more thing. Please, if you get expected questions in your final exam, please, never learn your cue cards. Never cram your cue cards. The examiner will know that you have learned, that you have crammed it. Yes, something you're absolutely right again. Okay. So never cram it, never learn it, be fluent, be natural. Okay, just be natural whenever you are doing your final speaking exam. It's just 10 to 15 minutes. It won't take long. They're not going to judge you on your general knowledge. If you don't know anything about something, just tell them. Just tell them in your language, English language, because this is your language test, and not your general knowledge test. So be aware if you are unaware about some topic, some word, you can let the examiner know. Okay, so let me show you some of the vocabulary when we talk about somebody, people specifically, to be very specific. So you can take the screenshot of this page if you want, or this video will be available for you later. But for now, you can take the screenshot, or if you want to jot down, write it down, you can write it down. So when we talk about the physical appearance of someone, how do we tell that? It's very beautiful, smart, well built, Lean and thin if they are not very well dressed. Okay, well dressed. Obese. Do you know what obese is? Somebody just say yes or no. Do you know what obese is? Obese. Have you ever heard the word obesity? Are you aware of these words? I hope you are aware. These are very common words. Just say yes or no. Are you aware? Obese or obesity? Nice, nice. See? Okay. The next thing, if we talk about qualities of somebody, what qualities a person can have? These are some of the qualities. You can think of another things also, other things also. Okay. Some of the things are like amiable or amicable. When we talk about a person who is very friendly with others, we can use these words: amicable, courteous, reliable. I've also written the meanings of some of these, so you can use them. Okay. So idioms, yes, I have also written some of the idioms for you. So some of the idioms that you can use it. Hi, Rene, I can say. Okay, fine. So I can also see some of the. I have also written some of the idioms for you. You can use this whenever you use, wherever is appropriate. Don't use it everywhere. Use it wisely. Okay. Few of them are jack of all trades, man of his word, people's person, life and soul of a party. There's very common one. You can use these words for people, for describing people. I'm specifying it. These things are used for describing people, for describing qualities, for describing physical appearance. Okay. So you can talk about your friend first. So and so is my friend. We are friends since that particular time. You can specify the time also. Then you can tell how do you know each other, how you met. You can also add up these things. And then you can talk about the qualities this person have, and you can talk about the outlook of this person. Okay. And when you are talking about the qualities, you can also use the idioms. So these are some of the vocabulary words that can be used for this particular topic or any topic if you're talking about any person, any specific person. Okay. I hope you understood this much. Okay. So before this, now let me show you the last thing, that is expected questions that you may get in your next 2 months exam. If you are taking your exam in September, October, or probably November, you can expect these questions. I'm just giving you 10 questions so you can get to know what kind of questions you may have in your final exam. So first, let's talk about a TV show you like to watch. There may be chances that you are not very okay with the TV shows. You don't watch them, but that is totally okay. You can watch. You can talk about any of the TV shows, or you can, if you're not at all seeing the TV, or you are not at all, very busy with your life, and you don't have time for the TV shows. What you can do is you can think of any other show and just change that show in such a form that it becomes a daily show. Just present your web series or something in form of TV show. That so and so is a show that I usually watch. It is telecasted on so and so channel at so and so time. You can specify it. So next thing, what is it? Describe a place where you go to do outdoor activities or play a sport. Okay. So you can talk about any place. Again, you can go to your local stadiums. You can go somewhere to a beach, anywhere, wherever you go. Describe a family member who you would like to work with in the future. So again, this is about people, family member. Amni, you were asking me what if you don't know about the topic. See, these are very common topics. You won't get something very difficult. I hope these topics, with these topics, your doubts get clear. Reality shows work. No, I'm not saying reality shows work. I'm telling you, uh, try not to say about reality shows. If you can present them in certain form, that is okay. Okay, like reality shows. Can you specify something? Name any particular one. That is okay. Until I'm discussing the other things, you can just name a couple of things. Okay. Next thing. Yes, I was telling you, describe a family member. So we use some words for vocabulary words we use today for the people. You can pick up some of the words from there also for the for the family member you would like to work with in the future. Next thing, you describe a time you received money as a gift. There are many occasions, certain occasions when you receive money as a gift. You need to specify it. Okay. Describe a time you were very busy. It could be anything. You were busy with anything. It could be your exams. It could be somebody's marriage. You were supposed to do multiple things. You just need to write it down. Jot down the point, and then whenever you are given the time of 2 minutes, then start speaking about it. Next, describe a photo that you are very proud of. Okay, we can talk about the photograph. Whose photograph is this? Where it is look, particularly hanged, or you can also talk about who's there in the picture, why you're proud of that particular picture. You can talk about multiple things of the picture. Then describe a place where you go to others to play a sport. Okay, this is the same one. Describe a story or novel that was particularly interesting to you. You can talk about any story, any novel that you like. Talk about an important special event that you celebrated. Events can be anything. It could be your birthday, it could be somebody's birthday, it could be somebody's anniversary, how you celebrated it. You can talk about that. Describe an activity you do to keep yourself fit, basically. So what we do specifically, we can talk about our diet, we can talk about exercises that we specifically do, we can talk about yoga, whatever you do to keep yourself fit. You just need to talk about such topics in your final exams. You'll get such topics in your final exam for which you will be asked to talk about. Okay, so I hope you have taken a screenshot of these expected questions so you can know what kind of questions are to be asked in the exam. Okay, so before we end up this session, let me tell you why we go for IELTS classes with leverage. One, you'll get best in faculty. Okay, how much do we have to talk about these topics? You need to talk about it for 2 minutes. I told you, 2 minutes. Particularly, you'll have to talk about it for 2 minutes only. That is all. Isha, just 2 minutes. They might stop you in between, but yes, you have to prepare yourself for 2 minutes. Yes, let's get back to. I hope I have answered your question, too. Okay, so by leverage, I told you you have interactive session. This was just a kind of we have other live sessions too, on which you get one-on-one particular individual attention. You get material, everything from latest Cambridge book, from latest questions to tips and strategies with experts. Okay, fine. You get recorded lessons even if you miss your classes, you get recorded lessons for it. Okay, so you get speaking clubs, you get writing clubs, you can discuss with multiple things. You get mock tests, sectional tests. We provide everything for you. As I told you, you have everything. If you want to go to abroad, you can just talk to us, and you can just let us know. Just drop your message or drop your number, or I'm giving you another number. That is 1800 572 130, on which you can contact us. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe and also don't forget to download our app, Leverage IELTS. Okay, I hope this was an interactive session and it was helpful for you. I hope you understood some of the topics, some of the queries you had in your mind. So we'll meet up again. It was really nice to meet you all. Let's say okay. Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye, Isha. Bye, Preeti, Rumi, Amni, all of you. Bye-bye. Bye, Priya. Have a good day.